was her age. Thank you very much. I like to think that everyone has their own Disney character. For example, Lenny Watts is Mickey Mouse with a beard and a little extra sarcasm. For me, I'm a reader. I love to tell stories. I'm a nanny. And my great-grandmother is from Peterborough, England. So I'll let you figure out who I am. Uncle Gutenberg was a bookworm, and he lived on Channing Cross. The memory of his volumes brings a smile. He would read me lots of stories when he wasn't on the sauce. Now I'd like to share the wisdom of my favorite bibliophile. He said, cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king might be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Nellie Rubina was made of wood, but what could not be seen was though her trunk up top was barren. Well, her roots were lush and green. So in spring when Mr. Hickory saw her blossoms blooming there, he took root despite a bark, and now there's seedlings everywhere, which proves our cover is not the book. So open it up and take a look, 'cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Thank you. Lady Hyacinth Macaw brought all her treasures to a reef, where she only wore a smile plus 2 feathers and a leaf. So no one tried to rob her, 'cause she barely wore a stitch. For when you're in your birthday suit, there ain't much there to show you're rich. Oh, a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Once upon a time in a nursery rhyme, there was a castle with a king hiding in a wing, 'cause he never went to school to learn a single thing. He had scepters and swords and a parliament of lords, but on the inside he was sad, egad, because he never had a wisdom for numbers, a wisdom for words, though his crown was quite immense, his brain was smaller than a bird's. So the queen of the nation made a royal proclamation to the misses and the messers, the moralessers, bring me all the land's professors. Then she went to the hairdressers, and they came from the east and they came from the south. From each college they put knowledge from their brains into his mouth, but the king couldn't learn, so each professor met their fate. But the queen had their heads removed and placed upon the gate, and on their date, I said their wives all got a note, their mate was now the late great. But then suddenly one day a stranger started in to sing. He said, I'm the dirty rascal and I'm here to teach the king. And the queen touched the jewels, for she hated royal fools. But this fool had some rules they really ought to teach in schools, like you'll be a happy king if you enjoy the things you've got. She never tried to be the kind of person that you're not. So they sang and they laughed, for the king had found a friend, and they ran onto a rainbow for the story's perfect end. So the moral is you mustn't let the outside be the guide, for it's not so cut and dry. Well, unless it's Dr. Jekyll, then you better hide. Petrified. No, the truth can't be denied, as I now have testified. All that really counts and matters is the special stuff inside. A cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look, 'cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. So please listen to what I've said and open a book tonight in bed. So one more time before I get the hook, sing out strong. A cover is nice, a cover is nice, a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. I think I'll keep the accent going, it works, they liked it.
Delightful. Totally delightful. I mean, you know exactly who you are, and you know how to do character work too. I loved seeing this character that was close enough for me to buy that it's you, but also clearly Mary Poppins too. That's one of the things that's hard to do in cabaret, but really necessary because we're doing stuff out of context. But this is a song that needs some kind of context, because if you just walked up and didn't set it up at all, it might, you know what I mean? There's so many words coming at us so quickly, we need to have some sort of setting.
You do need a good cover for
Yes,
this book.
yes, you do, exactly. And so that was really well done. I like the way that you set your patter up so it came out in a very natural way and made perfect sense, but it didn't require me to know the show
Great.
inside and out to
Thank
know
you.
what you were doing.
Thank you so much.
Well done, and beautifully sung, of course.
Thank you.
What I like is having seen you now for 3 weeks is that we're getting a different person. I mean, not a different person, the same person, but we're getting an idea of what kind of show we would get from you and how the variety of the show would be very fascinating and entertaining. So last week, that beautiful ballad you did. This week, this great sort of patter comedy song. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see when we're going to spend an hour with somebody. And so I really appreciate the chances you're taking and the variety you're bringing to the contest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hannah Jane!